Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Thursday, 22nd May 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. St. Lucia ponders the impact of sargassum seaweed on its hotel and tourism industry. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. A growing environmental and public health concern is once again plaguing St. Lucia's coastlines. The massive influx of sargassum seaweed has returned, bringing with it foul odors, disrupted tourism activity, and potential health hazards for coastal communities. Kendall Burton of the DBS News World reports.
Minister for Agriculture Alfred Prosper says while the phenomenon is regional and even global in scale, urgent local response is necessary.
This is not only a St. Lucia problem, but it's a problem in the region and many other parts of the world. It is cause for concern because it has implications on our tourism sector.
The minister revealed that a national plan is being developed to provide short-term relief. A costing is underway and a formal proposal will soon be presented to Cabinet. He confirmed that equipment funded through partnerships such as small tractors, dump trucks and a boat will soon be deployed.
Ministry of Agriculture has a plan. We had a task force established in recent years. And through the government and people of Japan, we were able to secure some funding through the UNDP to secure some pieces of equipment to assist us with addressing the problem.
While sargassum has potential benefits such as improving fish catch and possible use in agriculture, Minister Prosper warned against its unchecked use. He cited recent findings of heavy metals in the seaweed, which could pose serious health risks if used in food production.
A lot of people use it and they think it's a very important resource for our farms, mulching, etc. But recent information has revealed that I can't remember the names of the two contaminants in there, but they are heavy metals that if we consume, can have health implications.
The minister also expressed hope that more sustainable income-generating solutions can be developed, possibly through small cottage industries or agri-processing ventures. However, he admits that no long-term commercial solutions have yet been found, despite regional discussions on the matter. Prosper says while some hotels have begun their own cleanup efforts, tackling the sargassum issue may be a shared national responsibility. As the nation braces for what could be another difficult sargassum season, all eyes are on the Ministry of Agriculture for a coordinated multi-sectoral response and on regional partners for long-term solutions.
As the government sticks to its promise of not raising electricity rates, at least not yet, one economist in Trinidad and Tobago is agreeing with this decision. And CEO of AmCham Trinidad and Tobago, Nimrod Tiwari, is emphasizing the urgency of proactive planning to ensure a resilient private sector. More in this edition of CNC3 Business Watch with Peter Christopher.
Economist Dr. Valmiki Arjun says while he agrees that some fiscal consolidation is necessary to keep the country going, it shouldn't come at the cost of sharply increasing the cost of living and doing business. Over the weekend, Minister of Public Utilities Barry Padarat told Guardian Media that the government would hold true to its promise made on the campaign trail not to raise electricity rates at this time. Arjun agrees, saying that if rates are raised at this time, it would only be to the disadvantage of the ordinary citizen.
Food prices could also increase. Supermarkets will have to pay higher electricity charges, especially given their refrigerated and frozen sections tend to be always in use. Our food processors are highly energy intensive. They will have little choice but to pass on the higher cost of electricity to consumers.
More so, Arjun says higher electricity costs could hurt the competitiveness of the private sector.
Let's consider manufacturers whose activities run for 24/7 and they're classed as industrial. Using the new rates proposed, if a D3 industrial classed manufacturer uses a total of over 2 million kilowatt hours of electricity, then we would find that their electricity expense will increase by approximately $554,250 per month alone.
In October 2023, the Regulated Industries Commission, which regulates the delivery of services by TNTech and WASA, had recommended an increase in electricity rates and service charges for TNTech customers. It also proposed that all rates for residential, commercial, and industrial users of electricity increase by varying amounts. The American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago, in partnership with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management and Arise Trinidad and Tobago, has hosted a business continuity workshop aimed at equipping small and medium enterprises with the tools to mitigate disruption and ensure long-term business resilience. Nirad Tiwari, CEO of AmCham Trinidad and Tobago, says business continuity planning is no longer a luxury, it's a must. Tiwari explains, in an increasingly connected and unpredictable world, risks are coming faster, as he calls for a highlighted significance of cross-sector collaboration. Peter Christopher, CNC3 Business Watch.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Why was the case against 7 young men charged in connection with a bloody shooting incident dropped? That is what Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley wants to know. She was referring to a case about an incident that happened on the Spring Garden Highway on Kadooman Day, August 7, 2017. The Prime Minister is calling on the Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, Alliston Sale, to provide answers as to why the decision was taken to discontinue the case. She raised concerns about the matter while addressing the Barbados Labour Party public meeting in Western St. James. The men were charged with discharging a firearm in a public place, placing 18 people in danger of death or serious bodily harm. During the court appearance, acting DPP Seal said the state was discontinuing the case against the men. Prime Minister Motley made it clear she is not happy with the development.
Those people who had their cases dropped, 6 or 7 of them, I don't know the facts, related to the same incident on Spring Garden. I don't know the facts. But what I do know is that a country deserves an explanation, and to explain to the people why you would have now to drop the case against those 6 or 7 young men as they were. And I pray that the DPP will understand his duty to the people who he serves in that constitutional post. But I go further. I understand what you are feeling. And I understand that there are some who are so riled up that they may want vengeance. But vengeance does not solve anything, my friends.
As Venezuela plans to hold regional elections in the disputed Essequibo territory on May 25, 2025, a day before Guyana's 59th independence anniversary, concerns over national security are deepening. Tiana Cole of HGP Nightly News reports.
With Venezuela set to hold an election for a governor of Essequibo on May 25, just one day before Guyana celebrates its 59th independence anniversary, Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister Amanza Walton-Desir is calling for a clearer defined national strategy to address the Venezuela controversy.
There has to be a bipartisan, whole of government, whole of systems approach to dealing with this Venezuela issue. It is not something that can be looked at in isolation.
She criticized the government's decision to host the concert in Essequibo just one day before the Venezuelan election, calling it irresponsible during a time when citizens are anxious and uncertain about national security.
Why would you have a gathering of Guyanese people and not in a position of vigilance or a posture of vigilance, but one of celebration and merriment? Is this government thinking?
The Member of Parliament said she does not believe the government is treating the situation with the seriousness it demands. According to Walton Desir, the government appears unaware of the severity of the matter. While reaffirming that the opposition will always support national sovereignty, she emphasized that such support will not be given blindly or without accountability.
They have made so many promises and have broken all. They promised to start an education program. They didn't do it. They promised that they would have frequent meetings of the Sectoral Committee on Foreign Relations. That was not done.
Meanwhile, tensions on the ground have already turned violent. Last week, members of the Ghana Defense Force came under fire while conducting routine patrols along the Cuyuni River near the Venezuela border. In a statement, the GDF confirmed that 3 separate attacks occurred within a 24-hour period. The assailants, reportedly armed men in civilian clothing, was positioned on the Venezuelan side of the border. Despite the aggression, the GDF stated that its troops responded with restraint during each incident, which took place between Iterambang and Macapa. Venezuela firmly rejected the International Court of Justice ruling issued on May 1, 2025, calling for the suspension of its planned regional elections in Essequibo. Venezuela's government responded by reiterating its refusal to recognize ICJ's jurisdiction or comply with its decisions. Tianoko reporting for the HGP 93 News.
St. Kitts and Nevis' Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew said the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party-led federal government is committed to the development of Nevis and will continue to work closely with the Nevis Island administration. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline has more.
Dr. Drew was commenting on intergovernmental relations, especially in the context of the so-called fair share, a term made popular by Premier Mark Brantley when the Concerned Citizens Movement was part of the political coalition Team Unity government, which disintegrated for several reasons, including claimed prevention of the Nevis Island administration from getting a fair share of the non-tax revenue brought in under the Citizenship by Investment program. Prime Minister Dr. Drew, during his political campaign, did indicate to SKN Newsline that he had every intention to significantly improve the relationship between the two islands and to address developmental needs of Nevis in a collaborative manner. At his round table with the news media on 13th May 2025, Dr. Drew reaffirmed progress is being made on that front, citing the advances made in geothermal financing and support for the development of the Vance Amory International Airport.
But I think it gives Nevis a chance to really develop into a country that we all come out, and gives Kids a chance as well. So together, we are moving on this one. This was stifled under the last administration. The other thing is the airport development. The federal government has now stepped in to support the financial backing to really, I would say, upgrade the airport on Nevis. We have done that. We went to Parliament, we did it. I've signed the document about 2 weeks ago to finalize it. So Nevis is on its way to get a refurbished, upgraded airport. That again will help to advance Nevis going forward. I would like to say also, with respect to Nevis, the Premier had asked about the issue of fair share as determined, or that was termed in the 7 years prior. And I asked the World Bank to do a study. The World Bank study is done, and the document has been shared with the Premier about how we should share the revenues between St. Kitts and Nevis, taxable and non-taxable. Constitution only speaks to the taxable, but the non-taxable, where the CBI comes in, that was also analyzed, and so that is now with the Premier, and we will have meaningful discussion as to how. So those significant ones, geothermal, the airport development, how we are really going to share revenues and to back Nevis where we have to as the federal government. This is significant for Nevis. Nevis has not been left out and should not have been left out. And we continue to give Nevis support on a monthly basis.
Meanwhile, some individuals have been voicing their desire to see a constitutional amendment that would enable St. Kitts to have its own island administration to effect a real federal system. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.